They are serious, they are settled, they are resplendent in their uniforms, and they are awaiting the arrival of our dignitaries. Now, we're seeing the north end of Duke Street, and traditionally JLP MPs approach Gardner House from that end, and that's coming down from the Bustamante Industrial Trade Union building. We previously saw the south end, and that's the side from which the People's National Party members of Parliament usually approach the House. As Stacey, as you mentioned, members of the Jamaica Constabulary Force and the JDF are strategically placed to ensure that we have a safe and secure environment for the parade. I will say only this: they are not there simply for show.
And as we heard, Theo, it's so important on a morning like this to have order. It is, in fact, a celebratory event.
Definitely.
We do know that we have members of both parties and supporters of both parties who are here. And as you see on screen there, the Chief Justice
Sykes.
Brian Sykes has arrived and is escorted into the House. So you do want to make sure that while you have that kind of levity and, you know, it's a joyous occasion,
Indeed.
but at the same time, it is an official event. It is a ceremonial event. And so the members of the JDF do provide that very vital support to ensure that everything is done in an orderly fashion and it can be executed well.
Indeed, and as the members of the judiciary make their way into the chamber led by Chief Justice Brian Sykes, we do have onlookers. We do see them. You might not be able to just see them, just look to the right side of your screen down the road. We have the onlookers who are already staking out their spots along the sidelines. They're ready to cheer on their political representatives. The stage is set for an exciting morning, but we are twinning excitement and order. The cars are coming in. We remind viewers that the first scheduled arrivals are special invited guests. You saw members of the judiciary, including the Chief Justice, heading into the chamber. There are representatives of the diplomatic corps. There are other high-ranking officials, and they are required to be seated before the Deputy Governor General arrives.
As protocol dictates, Theo, once the Governor General's representative, and in this case, it will be the Deputy Governor General, the Honorable Stedman Fuller, who will be performing those duties this morning. Once the Governor General or his nominee, his deputized person arrives, the formal elements of the event begin. Yes. When we do see the Governor General arriving, we're going to take you through all that will be happening. There is strict protocol surrounding his arrival and how he is greeted. We will note that the Guard of Honor will provide a royal salute. There will be an inspection of the Guard of Honor, and we will talk about what that means and why it's important. And as we mentioned earlier, we do have two very knowledgeable gentlemen who are part of the JDF who have joined us to help to add a little bit of color to that aspect of this morning's ceremony, so people can really understand and feel proud of the role that the JDF plays in ceremonies such as this. We are standing by just about now for the arrival of the Commissioner of Police, and once he arrives, shortly thereafter, we will have the arrival of the
Force Executive Officer, Brigadier Markland Lloyd. But we do see the Commissioner of Police arriving at this moment.
Right on cue.
That is Dr. Kevin Blake, and Dr. Blake assumed the post on March 19, 2024. He is participating in his first state opening of Parliament as Commissioner. Now, a little bit about Dr. Blake. His experience in the force has been dynamic, commanding several branches within the JCF. He has led the Public Safety and Traffic Enforcement Branch, the Planning, Research and Development Branch in Area 4, Operations Branch from Area 3, and also the National Intelligence Bureau. He also served as Assistant Operational Officer at the St. James and Kingston Central divisions. So Dr. Blake has had a storied career. He has a PhD in Sustainable Development from the University of the West Indies, Mona. He has a Master of Science in Computer-Based Management Information Systems and a bachelor's degree with honors in Computer Science and Mathematics. And there goes Dr. Blake. He has stepped out of his vehicle. He is being escorted into the chamber as we watch. I mentioned that we are also expecting, following Dr. Blake, who has now arrived, the Force Executive Officer who will be representing the Chief of Defense Staff, Rear Admiral Antoinette Weems Gorman today, and that would be Brigadier Markland Lloyd. At any minute now, we're expecting Brigadier Lloyd to make his appearance.
While we anticipate the arrival of Brigadier Lloyd, I wanted to just ask Major Brown, who is with us, Major Clinton Brown, to tell us a little more about who is forming up this Guard of Honor this morning.
Thank you, Stacey. So the Guard of Honor is formed by the 4th Battalion, the Jamaica Regiment, and it's a full guard. A full guard is normally mounted for heads of state, members of the royal family, that sort of personage. The guard consists of 4 officers and 96 other ranks. So this is a full guard of honor for this morning's parade, formed by the 4th Battalion of the Jamaica Regiment.
And now we see the arrival of the Force Executive Officer, Brigadier Markland Lloyd, who is in fact representing the Chief of Defense Staff, Rear Admiral Antoinette Weems Gorman, for this morning's state event.
Indeed.
And Brigadier Lloyd is met, or will be met, by Major Finicky Rowe, Acting Commanding Officer of the 4th Battalion, Jamaica Regiment.
Yes, as Force Executive Officer, Brigadier Lloyd is responsible for coordinating the General Staff on behalf of the Chief of Defense Staff. He also has oversight responsibility for all committee activities led by the
parade commander.
Red carpet. He's going to step onto the saluting dais. His job right now is to do a quick look over the troops to ensure that everything is in place to receive the Deputy Governor General, who will do a more fulsome inspection.
Right. But this is now going to be a sword salute that he receives.
That beautiful and dynamic aerial shot, Stacey.
It is wonderful, really beautiful to see the formation of the JDF.
Stand easy.
We're looking at color ensigns on screen just now. If you would give a little background, Major Brown, if you can, on the member of the JDF who is on screen now and others who are carrying what looks like flags. But if you could help us to understand the colors and what all of that means.
Right, so each brigade.
Oh, just before you get into that, Major Brown, we do see the President of the Senate, Tom Tavares Finson, Senator Tavares Finson, arriving at this time and getting some obligatory photo opportunities from media who are out in their numbers to capture this very important moment for the beginning of the fiscal year. So, Major Brown, you were telling me about the color ensigns who are part of the Guard of Honor.
So there are 2 colors on parade this morning, the King's color and the Brigade's color. The King's color is the one fashioned in the likeness of the Jamaican national flag. And the Brigade's color is the one in the colors used by the Brigade, crimson and gold. The King's color this morning is being carried by Lieutenant Marquina Jones, and the brigade colors is being carried by Lieutenant Demoy Powell.
So the King's colors is the one that is similar in terms of the color combination to the Jamaican flag. So
That is
during the royal salute, we will see what is called the sweeping of the colors. Sometimes people say, oh no, they're putting the flag on the ground, but it's not in fact the Jamaican flag.
It is really not the Jamaican flag. It is fashioned in the likeness of the Jamaican flag, but it is in fact colors, which is also very interesting, because when they're made, they're not really called colors until the service of the consecration.
Ah.
Once they've been consecrated, then they now are called colors. There's another interesting thing to that, though, as well, because there are those rare occasions when only one colors are carried on parade. But even then, the one is still referred to in the plural. It is still called colors.
Fascinating.
We are seeing the arrival of the leader of opposition, Mark Golding, and he is heading away from the chamber, but that is for a very important reason. We anticipate what is known as the March to Gordon House, led by the Prime Minister and the leader of the opposition from opposing ends of Duke Street. So he is going down to his supporters, he'll be greeting them, and then the opposition members of parliament and senators will make their way from the south end of Duke Street. The governmental members of parliament and members of the Senate will make their way from the north, converging at the entrance of Duke Street, at the entrance of Gordon House, and entering the chamber proper.
And just to give a sense of when you say south and north, based on what we're looking at on the screen, south is to the left and
right.
north is to the right.
Correct.
So that march to Gordon House happens from either end of Duke Street
Simultaneously,
and they walk towards the entrance to the Parliament building.
Oh yes, we expect the supporters to be even more energized and vocal today as they cheer on their leaders marching in.
And
to the
those
house.
watching on TV, Theo, or online via the live stream on the GIS website, gis.gov.jm, can also cheer on their MPs. If you're just joining us, we remind you that the main act this morning will be the Honorable Stedman Fuller as he delivers the throne speech for the very first time. It will undoubtedly be a very proud moment for him as Deputy Governor General. The Honorable Stedman Fuller, in addition to being the Custos Rotolorum for Kingston, is the Chairman and Managing Director of Kingston Bookshop Limited, one of the nation's leading booksellers. Its headquarters is on King Street, not very far from here, and I'm sure that many of his employees and admirers will be here cheering him on as well. He has a huge responsibility this morning, Theo.
Indeed. We're seeing the south end of Duke Street where we're supporters of the People's National Party, and we're seeing the MPs amongst the crowd. They're all mingling together. You can see the joy and the festivity at this end of the street as the March to Gordon House is about to begin. There's Lisa Hanna at the front there, decked out in her red
Daly,
finery.
another opposition MP. We also see members of the Senate.
Yes.
I think there's a photo up there with Janice Allen,
Indeed.
Floyd Morris
We
just
saw
now.
Floyd Morris, yes. Indeed. And of course, we made note of the leader of opposition's arrival. They're getting their house in order as they move up the street towards
And
Gordon
just
House.
to remind our viewers and those tuned in online, the throne speech outlines all of the priority programs and policies of the government for this upcoming fiscal year, which begins on April 1. And this year's theme is Jamaica's next chapter, aspiring to greatness. Later on in the afternoon, we're going to hear more about how those programs and policies are going to be funded, Theo, with the tabling of the 2025-2026 estimates of expenditure. And that tabling is also going to be momentous. And
Yes,
I know
it
you're going
will.
to tell me why.
Yes, it will. It will be tabled by the Minister of Finance and the Public Service, the Honorable Favour Williams, and that is a first for her today.
Indeed.
Minister Williams assumed office on October 30 last year, and she has become the first female Minister of Finance and Minister of Finance and Public Service. Of course, the estimates will provide all the details of the amount the government intends to spend on recurrent business and capital projects. These will include things like funding for education, funding for health, national and social security, or roads, which has taken national attention, and many other areas. So the ceremony, it's wonderful to look at. It's very important as a part of Jamaica's national identity, but the information along the political spectrum that will happen, hearing how the budget will impact us, hearing how the policies are forming up, hearing what is expected to take place this year are crucial as well.
And for those watching, you might just have noticed that a member of the JDF who is forming up that Guard of Honor was escorted out of the formation. It appears he may be unwell, and so his team, as they do every time we see them on parade, they are so keen on paying attention to the members of the JDF, and so somebody escorted him, obviously, to get maybe rehydrated or whatever his medical concern was, but we really appreciate the kind of focus and attention that they place on members of their team. And here we see the Speaker of the House of Representatives.
Yes, Juliet Holness arriving to the chamber. Stacey, regarding the Guard of Honor, we expect a lot from them, and we give them the utmost care.
Of course. The Most Honorable Juliet Holness is the 16th Speaker of the House of Representatives since independence. She assumed office in September 2023, and her key responsibilities is to uphold the rules, or what are properly referred to as the standing orders of the House, and to ensure that the rights of all members of Parliament are protected.
That's right. You know, Stacey, Parliament is composed of 63 members of Parliament alongside 21 senators. There are 49 at this moment. There are 49 government members of Parliament and 14 opposition members of Parliament there. And all together, that comprises Parliament, the governing body of our nation.
Absolutely beautiful shot on our screen just now. Really great work by the team to give us just a taste of how beautiful it looks. I mean, when you're here in person, it's all the more wonderful, but it's good that we can actually show the rest of Jamaica how beautiful it really is.
We see the streetliners standing further at attention. I don't know if I'm saying what they are doing right now correctly, Captain Dowes, but they have shuffled out of their stance at attention into a more attentive phase. What do we expect is happening now?
All right, so they are preparing for the arrival of the Governor General, and so they have to be in a position to give the royal salute. And so there are drills that they have to go through to prepare, and as you see, His Excellency's representative, the Deputy Governor General, is on his way, so they have to be ready before they arrive for that salute.
Thank you so much for that.
And we see the accompaniment of mounted escorts, Major Brown, and just walk us through, let's anticipate what's going to happen in the next few minutes.
Right, Stacey. So when the Deputy Governor General arrives, he will be met by Brigadier Markland Lloyd, who is representing Vice Admiral Antoinette Weems Gorman, and he will escort the Deputy Governor General to the saluting dais, where he will receive a royal salute. Now, that royal salute is for the head of state. He's representing the head of state, the Governor General, and so once he ascends the saluting dais, he will be afforded this royal salute, where the national anthem will be played, and the uniformed members who are on the ground will also give that salute.
And that anthem will be played by the massed bands and the Jamaica Regiment Corps of Drums. And during that royal salute, we'll see what we referenced earlier as the sweeping of the colours.
Of the colours.
Yes, yes, the Honourable Stedman A.R. Fuller, Custos Rotolorum for the parish of Kingston, and the Deputy Governor General is now here and is about to take the red carpet.
Force Executive Officer Brigadier Markland Lloyd introducing the Deputy Governor General to another senior member of the JDF, and together they walk down the red carpet to the saluting dais.
And there we see Commander Michael Grant, the ADC to His Excellency the Governor General, in tow, to the Deputy Governor General.
As you know, many of our viewers know, many of our traditions are derived from those of the British parliamentary system, and this ceremony is one of them.
Salute! Present! Out!
So the guard commander is now inviting the Deputy Governor General to inspect the Guard of Honor. Tell us a little about the significance of this aspect of the parade, Major Brown, that inspection of the Guard of Honor.
So here we see the Guard Commander, Major Rodin Leon, approaching the Deputy Governor General there, and he will invite him to start the inspection. Now, the inspection of the troops is a formal event of all Guards of Honor. And so the Deputy Governor General will start his inspection to the right of the Guard. The Guard was formed in two ranks, the front and rear rank, giving enough room in between ranks for the Governor General to inspect, to have a look at the basic turnout of the troops and to ensure that they're in very good order.
And usually as they do the inspection, we have the massed bands and corps of drums as we hear them beginning to play now. Captain Dose, talk to us about that very popular piece of music that's being played at this time.
They're playing Lignum Vitae, and that piece is one of the signature pieces that are used for this particular time of a parade, the review. The indigenization of our own military with our own culture is a very important part of what we develop at the Jamaica Defense Force music units and music sections, including the military school of music where I am a lecturer. And one of the things that we are looking at is how we can get more of our own melodies and more composers of military music emerging as we continue to work through our identity. As we know, as we move towards Republic status, we will need more such symbols as this wonderful piece.
Our Deputy Governor General and Guard Commander continue to make their way along the front rank, and they're about to pass into the inspection of the rear rank. Just a little bit about our Guard Commander, Major Dane Leon. He hails from the parish of Manchester, all the Manchester people. Very proud today. Major Leong enlisted in the Jamaica Defence Force in 2008 and received his initial officer training at Fort Benning in Georgia. Now, he has held several notable appointments in the JDF, such as platoon commander, recruit training officer, troop commander, detachment commander, and so many others. And of note, he was awarded the Medal of Honor for General Service with clasp in 2018.
So we're hearing a variation of this song.
It
this
is a
long
medley
time
indeed.
gal
I heard
may
Miss
never
Lou,
see
you know, I heard her. And that infusion of traditions that we inherited or we borrowed with those that are homegrown is so important to identifying us as an independent nation.
It is one of the important roles of the Jamaica Defence Force. You would know that the Jamaica Defence Force was in formation just prior to independence. Yes, and we have taken Jamaica in through all of our symbols, including the national anthem being first performed by the JDF mass bands and drums.
Speaking of national anthem, it will be played again as the Guard of Honor gives the Deputy Governor General another royal salute. And right after that, Mr. Fuller is going to head inside the Parliament building, where he will be met by the clerk of the legislature at the foot of the stairs, accompanying him to the entrance of the chamber.
Jamaica, land we love. It's always great to see the JDF consistently delivering with excellence. They spend many hours rehearsing for this occasion, both the streetliners and the masked band, I'm sure, Captain Dowes. And we salute them for their consistency, their professionalism, and for bringing beauty and color to this occasion.
Yes, and the rehearsals extend even beyond those who you may see.
Yes.
There's a whole set of persons who are involved in the infrastructure and the medical support and other areas to make this
And
happen.
we're now seeing on screen the Prime Minister of Jamaica, Dr. the Most Honorable Andrew Michael Holness,
Leading the march
to Gordon House.
Right.
He is flanked by other members of Parliament, members of the Senate.
We have Senator Kamina Johnson-Smith at the front. We saw Minister Desmond McKenzie. And here we have now switched to the opposite end of
South
Duke
side
Street.
coming in from that end.
Members of the opposition making their way out into the chamber. Here we have Edmund Bartlett, our Minister of Tourism, and our Minister of Constitution, Legal and Constitutional Affairs, Marlene Malabu Fort, there at the front. Yes.
And our camera crews are doing a wonderful job in keeping us in time with the movement of both parties as they approach
Indeed,
the
there's
Parliament
Prime
building.
Minister Dr. Andrew Holness. We had briefly seen Dr. Angela Brown Burke, the Member of Parliament for St. Andrews South Western, a while ago. And the members of the opposition briefly pausing as the Prime Minister and the members of government enter the chamber, and they will then proceed. Our Minister of Finance, Stacey Favor Williams, just made her way into the chamber. We are looking forward
Yes,
to the
indeed.
tabling of expenditures by her this afternoon.
And that will happen in a few hours' time. We see many other members of Parliament from the government side. Norman Dunn just walked in, Juliet Cuthbert Flynn, Orlando Terrelong. From the opposition side, on the right side of your screen, Lisa Hanna, Mark Golding.
We briefly caught sight of Member of Parliament Peter Bunting there as well. And they are now well and truly making their way into the chamber in preparation for the throne speech. There's our Minister of Health, Dr. Christopher Tufton.
Yes, I think that's Michael Phillips there,
Yes,
if I'm
yes.
seeing correctly. Marissa Dalrymple Philibert is moving into place.
Everald Warmington, Carl Samuda, all making their way into the chamber to listen to the delivery of the throne speech by Deputy Governor General Stedman Fuller. Just a little insight as to what happens inside the Parliament building. After Mr. Fuller headed inside the building, he would have been met by the clerk of the legislature at the foot of the stairs, who will then accompany him to the entrance of the chamber. A flourish of trumpets would then be played to announce the arrival of the Deputy Governor General and signal the start of the official ceremony inside the house. Captain Dawes, you had...
Yes, the trumpet party is going to be under the direction of the bandmaster of the Jamaica Military Band, Warrant Officer Class 1, Paul Johnson.
Right.
He will be doing a flourish called Gordon House.
Gordon House. How fitting. We briefly saw some live action from inside Gordon House, and now we're back to it. Members of Parliament, members of the Senate. There's Damian Crawford entering, and
Julian
Philip Caldwell.
Robinson, Philip Paulwell, Fitz Jackson.
Indeed. Robert Miller there entering, all making their way into the chamber. You're seeing that live action from inside Gordon House. The members of the House of Representatives and the Senate, which together form the Parliament, gathering again to hear the throne speech delivered this year by Deputy Governor General, the Honorable Stedman Fuller. Here comes the trumpet flourish, Gordon House. There are Deputy Governor General standing beside the clerk of the legislature at the foot of the stairs.
And that is Bandmaster Gregory Nicholson, who has the baton ready.
And now you have footage from inside the chamber itself, as everyone takes their positions to receive the Deputy Governor General.
Be seated, please.
You know,
That's-
pardon me, Stacey, but we've been saying something about Mr. Fuller. We've been calling him the Custos Rotolorum, and that's an interesting word. It's a Latin, a phrase referring to the civic position where the appointed individual acts as the chief magistrate of a parish, primarily responsible for managing the roster of justices of the peace within that area, essentially representing the Governor General at the parish level. And now today, at the national level, as the Deputy Governor General. The flourish of trumpets has begun. Gordon House.
Honorable Stedman Fuller. Commander Order of Distinction. Custos Rotolorum for the parish of Kingston. Secretaries in Parish Excellency, the Governor General.
Madam Clerk, would you kindly invite the members of the Honorable House of Representatives to attend at the place appointed for the meeting of the Senate? I now invite the President of the Jamaica Council of Churches to say a prayer.
Let us pray. Eternal Father, you have been faithful in watching over this nation and guiding us as your children. Fill this place, we pray, with your presence and power through your Holy Spirit. May you breathe upon us afresh as we gather, cleansing, forgiving, and sanctifying and granting your blessings. We come to you seeking your divine wisdom as representatives, servants of the people of this nation, as we mark the start of a new fiscal year. Following in the noble tradition of those who since 1962 have recognized your sovereignty over all things, we pause to acknowledge with gratitude the privilege, the honor bestowed upon us in partnership with you to bring into effect the vision of justice and truth that is your will for our land. We remain cognizant, O God, in the words of one of our great sons, Robert Nesta Marley, that there is so much trouble in the world. But with that recognition, we also acknowledge the truth that is on this rock, formed and shaped by your mighty hand, you have blessed us with all that we need of human and natural resources to facilitate our great calling of advancing humankind's welfare. Hear us, therefore, O God, and forgive our many lapses, the occasions on which we have elevated personal and partisan objectives above the national interest. We beseech you now, therefore, to grant us clarity of thought, as with minds that think with honesty, we advance by words and commensurate action that which will engender true respect for all, the stirring that will lead to the joy-filled response to call of selfless service, so that Jamaica may increase in beauty, fellowship, and prosperity. Lord of all, we pray that a hallmark of our democracy may be the godly and peaceful governance exercised by those called to leadership in this land. Hear us, therefore, for Patrick, Governor General, Andrew, Prime Minister, Mark, Leader of the Parliamentary Opposition, all members of central government, with the Senate and those in local government. Endue with godly discipline and integrity those who administer justice, even as you strengthen those who guard and protect the land, revealing the common good to those in positions of public trust, including decision makers in education, health services, industry, and commerce. May respect for each other be maintained in the discussions, presentations, and discourses, and may all be done for the greater good of Jamaica, land we love, and the glory and honor be yours, Almighty God, now and forever. Amen and amen.
Please be seated.
A proclamation under the Constitution of Jamaica by His Excellency, the Most Honorable Sir Patrick Linton Allen, Member of the Order of the Nation, Knight, Grand Cross of the Most Distinguished Order of St. Michael and St. George, Commander of the Order of Distinction, Knight of Grace of the Most Venerable Order of the Hospital of St. John of Jerusalem, Governor General of Jamaica. Whereas it is provided by subsection 1 of section 64 of the Constitution of Jamaica that the Governor General may at any time, by proclamation published in the Gazette, prorogue Parliament. And whereas, in accordance with subsection 5 of section 64 of the said Constitution, I am advised by the Prime Minister that it is expedient that Parliament be prorogued. Now, therefore, I, Patrick Linton Allen, Member of the Order of the Nation, Knight, Grand Cross of the Most Distinguished Order of St. Michael and St. George, Commander of the Order of Distinction, Knight of Grace of the Most Venerable Order of the Hospital of St. John of Jerusalem, Governor General of Jamaica, do hereby proclaim and make known that Parliament is prorogued accordingly on the 12th day of February 2025. Given on behalf of the Governor General, under the hand of the Honorable Sedman Alvin Ridout Fuller, Commander of the Order of Distinction, Custos of Kingston, appointed Deputy Governor General, pursuant to Section 30, subsection 1 of the Constitution of Jamaica, by instrument under the Broad Seal on the 31st day of January 2025, and under the Broad Seal of Jamaica at King's House, this 10th day of February in the year of our Lord, 2025, and the third year of the reign of His Majesty King Charles III. God save the King.
Honorable members, we thank the Almighty for his kindness and mercy. The challenges of the past year, Hurricane Beryl, Tropical Storm Rafael, and the unseasonal rains that tested our infrastructure, economy, and communities, confirmed not just the strength, but also the indomitable spirit of the Jamaican people. Through courage, ingenuity, collective action, and the grace of God, we have rebuilt and risen above adversity. We place our trust in the Almighty's promise. The Lord is my rock, my fortress, and my deliverer. My God is my rock, in whom I take refuge, my shield and the horn of my salvation, my stronghold, as it says in Psalms 18, verse 2. Indeed, Jamaica has stood firm, emerging stronger, more dynamic, and closer than ever to achieving the destiny we envision. A Jamaica that is peaceful, productive, and prosperous for all. Today we gather as a stronger, more prosperous Jamaica, ready to embrace boundless opportunities. By every measure, we are indeed writing the next chapter in our post-independence development journey. Our unemployment rate is at a historic low of 3.5%. Empowering more Jamaicans with opportunities to strive. Our debt to GDP is targeted to be below 70% at the end of March 2025. And that's the lowest since the 1970s. Jamaica's credit rating are at the highest levels since our debt has been externally rated, signaling our enhanced credibility and fiscal strength on the global stage. We are now just 3 upgrades away from achieving investment grade status. After 57 consecutive years of deficits, our balance of payments current account since 1966, we have, for the past 2 fiscal years, managed to achieve a balance of payments surplus. Our net international reserve closed 2024 at US $5.6 billion. Another record high. Before the interruption caused by Hurricane Beryl, we recorded 12 consecutive quarters of economic growth after the COVID-19 pandemic. Business confidence has rebounded by 7.3% over last year. And is now just 2 points shy of the all-time high set in 2019. Consumer confidence has also rebounded, increasing 4% over the previous quarter. In 2024, murders declined by 19%. Following an 8% decline in 2023. This positive trajectory has continued into 2025 with a 16% decline in January 2025. In fact, murders in January 2025 was 51% lower than in January 2022. Jamaica is safer today than at any time ever in the past 2 decades. With major crimes recorded in 2024 being the lowest since such breakdowns began to be tracked in 2001. Honorable members, as we reflect on these remarkable achievements, let us recognize that they are not merely milestones of progress, but stepping stones towards an even brighter future. Our nation stands at the dawn of a new chapter in its journey, one defined by resilience, ambition, and the unwavering determination of our people. Together, we have weathered storms, risen above challenges, and set the stage for a transformative era of growth and prosperity. Let us now move forward with boldness and vision, confident in the strength of our foundations and our nation's limitless potentials. Let us now write Jamaica's next chapter, aspiring to greatness. Honorable members, as we continue our journey to implement a customer-centric ecosystem within the public sector, we are determined to improve public sector efficiency, governance, and accountability through innovative performance reporting systems. Efforts to planning, monitoring, and evaluation will continue with the development of an electronic performance monitoring and evaluation system, which will standardize processes across government and facilitate real-time data access to enhance decision-making. In the ongoing thrust to transform the public sector Learning and Development Policy was launched. This initiative will enhance the capabilities of public servants, foster a culture of continuous learning, and establish Leadership Development Center, and create a dynamic and responsive public sector that meets Jamaica's evolving needs. Honorable members, the government remains committed to transforming Jamaica into a digital society, ensuring that unique digital identity is available to every citizen. In 2024, the legal framework was completed with the gazetting of the National Identification and Registration Authority, NIRA, Act regulations, operationalizing NIRA and issuing Jamaica's first electronic national ID cards. To strengthen digital privacy, 1,056 data controllers applied for registration with the Office of the Information Commissioner by December 31st, 2024. Additionally, the government has developed a national cybersecurity framework and cyber incident response plan in recognition of growing cyber threats. Digital services continue to expand with the development of a proof of life application, which will be introduced shortly to simplify verification by pensioners. Also, the Jamaica Data Exchange Platform will streamline government data validation for the TRN, driver's license, and the new national ID. Honorable members, significant progress has been made in financial management, social support, and operational efficiency. For the first time in Jamaica's history, the reverse income tax credit programs provided $20,000 each to 347,133 eligible citizens. Totaling $6.9 billion in direct financial relief. The government accelerated digital transformation, implementing electronic systems such as the fixed asset, inventory management system, My Pension Plus, and the QE management system, improving efficiency and data accessibility. The securitization of revenue from Norman Manley International Airport raised $480 million, supporting infrastructure development and debt reduction. Legislative priorities remain on track with the Financial Institution Resolution Act 2024, which establishes a framework for resolving non-viable financial institutions tabled in the Senate. The Cabinet approved the amendment to the Public Procurement Act, which will enhance efficiency when they are passed. Additionally, changes to the Income Tax Relief, Large-Scale Projects, and Pioneer Industries Act are being refined to create a cohesive fiscal incentive framework. For 2025-2026, priorities include modernizing parliamentary operations with a legislation management information system to streamlining bill and document management. Additionally, the repeal and replacement of the Pension Superannuation Fund and Retirement Scheme Act will advance private pension reform, ensuring benefit security and effective industry regulation. Honorable members, with macroeconomic stability achieved, the government is now focused on leveraging these gains toward transformative and inclusive growth while remaining cognizant of climate change threats. In 2024-2025, Jamaica approved its 2050 long-term emission reduction and climate resilience strategy. And continues mobilizing funds for adaptation and mitigation projects across key sectors. Investing in resilient and sustainable infrastructure is crucial for economic growth and quality of life. Under the Urban Spaces Program, the Portmore Resilience Park is scheduled for completion by 2025-2026 to enhance wellness and climate resilience. The government has delivered 280 housing units with 648 rooms, impacting 968 individuals across 57 constituencies under the new social housing program. Road infrastructure has also advanced. The Southern Coastal Highway Improvement Project, now 95% complete, is enhancing connectivity and socio-economic equity. The Montego Bay Perimeter Road is on track for completion by mid-2026. The urban areas under the Special CAPEX program integrated upgrading of roadways, drainage, water, sewage, and broadband infrastructure for selected corridors in Kingston, St. Andrew, and St. Catherine continues. In December 2024, the SPARK project, a $45 billion three-year initiative, was launched. To improve secondary, local, and community roads while upgrading water infrastructure. Work will be underway on 126 roads across all constituencies by March 2025. Access to potable water remains a priority. Construction of the Rio Cobre water treatment plant begins in March 2025. Significantly improving supply to the Kingston metropolitan region. 13 rural water supply projects have already benefited 13,500 citizens, with the 2025-26 year expansion set to impact 45,000 more. Key legislative reforms are progressing. The construction industry policy, which will promote sustainable development and growth and enhance competitiveness and productivity, is on track for revision by financial year 2026-2027. Amendments to the Natural Resources Conservation Authority have introduced stiffer penalties. The Quantity Surveyors Registration Bill is in development to enhance professional standards and accountability. Honorable members, the government remains committed to reducing major crimes, improving public order, and enhancing public safety. Significant progress has been made in modernizing Jamaica's anti-crime policies and legislative framework to achieve these goals in accordance with Plan Secure Jamaica. The amendments to the Major Organized Crime and Anti-Corruption Agency Act and the Interpretation and the Interception of Communications Act have strengthened investigative tools, enabling more effective action against organized crime and firearm offenses. Border security is being modernized through the National Visa Policy and amendments to the Immigration Restriction Commonwealth Act and the Aliens Act. The review of the National Correctional Services Policy and Corrections Act also reinforces the government's commitment to offenders' rehabilitation and reintegration. integrating legislation, technology, infrastructure, and social investment is creating a safer Jamaica. The Jamaica Eye CCTV network is expanding, and the C5 Security Business Solution contract is advancing data-driven policing. Renovations of 17 police stations, ongoing divisional headquarters construction, and the near completion of the forensic pathology autopsy suite are enhancing law enforcement capacity. For the 2025-2026 year, legislative priorities include updates to the Firearm Act to include a framework for plea negotiations, among other things. This is consequent to the effectiveness of the new mandatory minimum penalty, which has increased the level of interest among accused persons in entering guilty pleas. Updates will also be made to the Proceeds of Crime Act and Fingerprint Act, alongside a comprehensive reform of the Corrections Act. The Child Offender Rehabilitation and Social Reintegration Strategy will also be launched to support transformative justice. Honorable members, the government remains committed to accessible, modern, and high-quality health care for all Jamaicans. In 2024, Jamaica achieved a historic milestone by eliminating mother-to-child transmission of HIV and congenital syphilis, reflecting expanded rapid testing and antiretroviral therapy, improved antenatal care, and enhanced monitoring systems. The Know Your Number initiative conducted over 220,000 tests, empowering Jamaicans to monitor key health metrics, with 80,000 persons being referred for care, ensuring early detection and intervention. To strengthen the healthcare workforce, the government launched the Barry Wint Memorial Scholarship, investing Jamaica $2.5 billion to support 607 medical technology, nursing, and biomedical engineering students. The government will continue to focus on infrastructure, legislative reform, and health campaigns. The Western Child and Adolescent Hospital will be completed, offering 12 specialties, including pediatrics, cardiology, and psychiatry. The Spanish Town Hospital redevelopment, valued at $5.5 billion, and Cornwall Regional Hospital rehabilitation, along with health center upgrades, including Greater Portmore, valued at $660 million, Old Harbour, valued at $930 million, and St. Jago Park, valued at $704 million, are enhancing healthcare access. Legislative priorities include the Tobacco Control Bill, which will align Jamaica with World Health Organization regulations by restricting tobacco and e-cigarettes use, and the Food and Drug Amendment Bill, which regulates natural health products. Amendments to the Nurses and Midwives Act and Pharmacy Act will legalize advanced practice registered nurses APRNs, prescribing approved pharmaceuticals, improving healthcare efficiency. Honorable members, the government continues to make remarkable strides in education, skills development, and digital transformation, key pillars of Jamaica's national development. Importantly, progress is ongoing in implementing the 365 recommendations from the Jamaica Education Transformation Commission report, the Patterson's report. The government remains committed to improving early childhood education by having one trained teacher in every early childhood institution in the country. Notably, the government has also expanded the number of shadows working with our special needs children in addition. In addition, a key priority is enhancing nutrition support programs across the education system that provide much-needed meals to our students on path. Currently, over 162,000 students benefit from this important support. The digital transformation, broadband access, now reaches 68% of schools, with 260 information communication technology, ICT labs, and 21 science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, STEM labs, at the primary level. (1,500 tablets were distributed to early childhood institutions, and 144 interactive smart boards provisioned across the system. The first phase of the digital financial management system has also been implemented in 50 schools to improve fiscal management. Legislative priorities include revisions to the Jamaica Teaching Council Bill to establish teacher licensing, amendment to the Education Act 1965 to update principal and board appointments, and continued progress on the Jamaica Tertiary Education Commission Bill for tertiary regulation. For 2025-2026, the government will focus on literacy and numeracy as a priority, targeting children aged 0 to 8. There will also be the implementation of a special education policy to ensure equity and inclusivity, and expansion of the education management information system to have schools for real-time monitoring and attendance. Honorable members, Jamaica's tourism sector demonstrated resilience, innovation, and growth in 2024. It overcame challenges, including travel advisories and severe weather, to welcome 4.1 million visitors, generating US $4.3 billion in revenue. This moves the sector closer to the 5 by 5 by 5 goal. That is 5 million visitors, US $5 billion in earning by 2025. Tourism investments continue to show strong growth. During this fiscal year, 6 new hotels totaling 5,600 rooms and 1,000 hotel workers housing will commence construction. When completed, this will bring foreign direct investment of US $2.5 billion and 10,000 new jobs. The Revolutionary Tourism Workers Pension Scheme has now surpassed 10,000 registration and savings under investment of $4 billion. This success reflects strategic planning, robust partnerships, and a focus on sustainability and inclusivity. The Tourism Innovation Incubator, administered by the Tourism Enhancement Fund, TEF, fosters groundbreaking ideas, including virtual reality tours and health and wellness tourism. Additionally, the Artisan Village, opened in April 2024, celebrating Jamaican culture and creativity, incorporating augmented reality to enhance visitors' experience and directly benefit local artisans. The government is committed to reshaping tourism through 1, digital transformation, automating licensing applications, and training access to boost efficiency and stakeholder engagement. 2, culinary tourism with the Montego Bay Convention Center Gastronomy Institute, empowering chefs and showcasing Jamaican cuisine on the global stage. And 3, diversification, targeted Latin America, Asia Pacific, and the Middle East, while expanding African American engagement in the US. These initiatives are backed by expanded airlift capacity and dynamic marketing by the Jamaica Tourist Board. Honorable members, we take pride in the strides made in the agriculture, fisheries, and mining this financial year. Although Hurricane Beryl severely damaged the agriculture sector, this industry is a symbol of the resilience we have embedded into our economy. Shortly after the hurricane's passage, the government was able to implement the Jamaica $1.4 billion disaster recovery program for our farmers and fisher folks. Over 24,800 farmers have directly benefited from this recovery program. These farmers, spanning key parishes like St. Elizabeth, Manchester, Clarendon, and Westmoreland, receive seeds, fertilizers, and technical support to rebuild their farms and livelihoods. An additional 6,000 beneficiaries were supported through the efforts of the Jamaica Commodities Regulatory Authority, JACRA, the Banana Board, and the National Fisheries Authorities, bringing the total number to over 30,000 farmers and fishers. Significant progress was made in agricultural infrastructure, with 98 farm roads rehabilitated at a cost of $870 million and $100 million allocated for backup generators to support irrigation pumps. The Southern Plains Agricultural Development Project will bring 795 hectares under irrigation by 2025-2026. Alongside progress on Essex Valley and Pedro Plains projects, the $7.75 billion irrigation development program will expand irrigation across 2,253 hectares over 3 years. Investments in alternative fisheries and aquaculture yielded 663 metric tons of production in 2024, while export expansion initiatives target a 25% increase through export clinics, pest-free zones, and value-added products. The Agribusiness Cold Chain Initiative will introduce modern cold storage facilities to reduce post-harvest losses by up to 30%. While the Agricultural Wardens Program will recruit 200 wardens to protect farmers and their livelihoods. The mining sector rebounded to pre-COVID levels with 5.3 million metric tons of bauxite and 2.87 million metric tons of industrial materials exported. Key legislative reforms in 2025-2026 will include amendments to the Predel-Lasny Act, the replacement of the Plants Quarantine Act with the Plant Health Act, and the Minerals Industry Act. Honorable members, the government continues to drive economic growth and exports by working with local manufacturers and service providers, including those in the micro, small, and medium-sized sector. The export thrusts include activities to develop existing and find new markets for Jamaican products and services. The EU-funded £1.7 million $, digitalizing program will establish 9 digital transitioning centers and train 2,700 MSMEs to improve efficiency and productivity and enhance competitiveness. The Export Jamaica platform, launched to provide market intelligence, global access, and compliance information in over 190 countries, has attracted 2,400 visitors and 10,000 page views, and has registered 80 businesses so far. The MSME Business Roadshow engaged over 1,200 participants, offering grant funding and business support, with phase 2 underway. In manufacturing, the government provided $78.9 billion to duty relief, to business under the Productive Input Relief Program, which seeks to reduce business costs and boost productivity. The Common External Tariff set suspension on lithium batteries supports the ongoing development of the renewable energy sector. The Jamaica $1 billion Screen Development Fund, launched in January 2024, aims to strengthen Jamaica's creative economy by supporting local filmmakers. A total of 269 grant applications have been validated and are under review for final approval and disbursement of grant funding. Key legislative advancements include the finalization of the Joint Select Committee of Parliament's review of the Security Interest in Personal Properties Act, SEPA, to improve financing for business, and the Segregated Accounts Companies Act 2024 to expand the financial services sector by attracting operators from outside of Jamaica. Amendments to the Companies Act and Insolvency Act are advancing to simplify business processes and support the rehabilitation of insolvents. Jamaica continues to position itself as a financial services hub to attract greater international investment and high-value jobs. Significant progress has been made on the Jamaica International Financial Services Authority legislative suite. The Limited Liabilities Companies Act, the Partnership General Act, and the Partnership Limited Act are being amended to comply with global standards. Honorable members, energy resilience, digital connectivity, increased innovation, and efficient transformation remain central to Jamaica's development. Public transportation saw a $3 billion investment in 100 compressed natural gas buses, including 10 buses for persons with disabilities. And reducing cost and supporting clean energy goals. In renewable energy, the UHWI Deep Energy Retrofit Project installed 1,500 rooftop solar panels, saving 1.5 million kilowatt hours annually, while the recent award of 100 megawatt of renewable energy projects moved Jamaica closer to 50% renewable by 2030. A memorandum with the Canadian Nuclear Laboratory will explore nuclear energy integration. Jamaica will become the first small island developing state, SID, in the Caribbean with a UNESCO Ghost Spin Science, Technology and Innovation country profile, which will guide the national ST&I policy. The Nurturing Early Scientific Thinking, NEST, initiative is equipping early childhood education with STEM kits and activity books. The US $4 million energy security investment will install 6,368 rooftop solar panels across 6 hospitals and 16 government facilities, saving 5 million kilowatt hours annually. Infrastructure upgrades include the Ian Fleming International Airport, enhancing runway, terminal, and flight capacity to support tourism growth. Public transportation will see an additional $3 billion investment with 100 more buses. procured and slated for delivery by July 2025. Of these, 10 buses will also be fitted for persons with disabilities. This will bring the total investment in improving this mode of public transportation to 250 buses in 24 months. At the same time, port security will be strengthened through increased port security corps recruitment. Legislative advancements include the Petroleum Downstream Activities Bill to regulate imported fuel quality by 2025-2026. Updates to the Civil Aviation Act and Shipping Act will align with international safety standards. Honorable members, Jamaica continues to strengthen its global presence, forging strategic partnerships that drive inclusive economic growth and improve the quality of life for all citizens. Through international cooperation, the country has secured critical investment in climate resilience, digital technology, energy and food security, health, education, and disaster management. In 2024, bilateral engagements yielded $47 million for capacity building, Jamaica's $60 million for citizen security, $230 million for security operations and equipment, and $7.6 million for sports equipment for schools. Agreements were also secured for a research vessel valued at $1.2 billion. And sporting infrastructure development valued at $15 billion. Jamaica continues to thank international partners and the diaspora for the global solidarity in disaster response as we mobilize over $525 million to aid recovery efforts. To aid recovery effort following Hurricane Beryl and Tropical Storm Raphael. The country reaffirmed its commitment to trade by completing its 5th trade policy review at the World Trade Organization, WTO, in 2024. Within CARICOM, Jamaica also secured common external tariff suspensions, safeguarding local industries while expanding seafood exports to Asia and Latin America. Jamaica continues to champion its interests globally, strengthening its role within international organizations. This year, Jamaica will be seeking re-election to the International Maritime Organizational Council. In July 2025, Jamaica will also assume the chairmanship of CARICOM Conference of Heads of Government, leading initiative in peace and security, digital innovation, food security, and health, while advancing the Caribbean single market and economy. Complementing expanded offering to clients and service excellence delivery initiative is a call to unity among Jamaicans at home and abroad through widened engagement and programs such as the new Diaspora Mentorship Academy. Honorable members, the Ministry of Justice remains committed to access and equity through modern infrastructure, inclusive services, and legislative advancements. In the past year, construction began on a state-of-the-art center in Hanover, a $200 million investment that will provide restorative justice, victim support, and mediation services. Major courthouse repairs were completed across St. Elizabeth, Hanover, St. Catherine, Manchester, and Portland, reinforcing resilience and accessibility to justice services. Over 1,000 individuals accessed legal aids through fairs, and more than 100 incarcerated persons with mental illnesses received legal representation. Justice professionals received Jamaica Sign Language training to improve access for persons with disabilities. Restorative justice referrals achieved an 81% agreement rate. While over 700 young people, ages 12 to 17, were diverted from the formal court proceedings toward rehabilitative treatment plans. Where over 1,000 victims of crime received intervention services. The government is advancing the construction of the St. Thomas Judicial Court Complex at the new Morant Urban Center, marking a significant milestone in modernizing our justice infrastructure and also prioritizing centers in Clarendon and St. Catherine. Work is also expected to commence on the Manchester Regional Judicial Complex. The commencement of a phased introduction of the integrated electronic case management system in the justice system will modernize legal processes, enhancing efficiency, reducing cost, and improving accessibility, particularly for persons with disabilities. The Ministry of Justice has made substantial progress on several legislative matters. Stakeholder consultations are completed, and the Notary's Public Repeal and Replacement Bill will soon be presented to Parliament. The Legal Aid Amendment Act will integrate the Legal Aid Council into the ministry as a department. Passed in 2024-2025, the Maintenance Amendment Act allows maintenance orders for children aged 18 to 23 who remain in education or training, and the judicature Rules of Court Amendment Act, passed in 2024-2025, grants greater flexibility to the Rules Committee of the Supreme Court. Honorable members, the government is making historic strides in transforming its legal and constitutional landscape, guided by a vision of self-determination and modernization. The report of the Constitutional Reform Committee was tabled in Parliament. The Constitution Amendment Republic Bill 2024 was also tabled, read a first time, and is being reviewed by a joint select committee of both houses. This is the most advanced step taken towards achieving the national goal of replacing the monarch as head of state and establishing Jamaica as a republic. The stage was set with the prior enactment of the Constitution Amendment of Section 61, Act 2024, which modernized the words of the enactment by replacing references to the monarch with references to the Parliament and the people of Jamaica where appropriate, as a critical move towards patriating our Constitution. In 2025-2026 legislative year, the remaining steps will be taken to pass the Constitution Amendment Republic Bill 2024 and then have it approved by the people. The reform work will continue into the next phase with a sharp focus on Chapter 3 and 7 of the Constitution, the Charter of Fundamental Rights and Freedoms, and the Judicature. The people of Jamaica will also be provided the opportunity to have their say on the matter of Jamaica's final court. Among the pieces of legislation, a referendum bill will be tabled to provide for the procedures for the people's participation in the reform of the Constitution. Work is also far advanced to revise the Law Revision Act to establish a new framework for revising and publishing our laws in digitized form, among other things. Honorable members, Jamaica has once again secured a place on UNESCO's representative list of intangible cultural heritage. With a pilgrimage to Wat Town inscribed in 2024. This milestone celebrates the revivalist tradition and its contribution to Jamaica culture and identity. In November 2024, the government partnered with Guardian Life Limited to launch Jamaica Entertainers and Creatives Insurance Plan. Providing life and accident insurance for registered creatives. A group health insurance policy covering 4,000 members of the entertainment registry, free of charge, will be launched by March 2025. Jamaican athletes excelled at the 2024 Paris Olympic Games, securing 6 medals, 1 gold, 3 silver, and 2 bronze. Roger Stoner's gold, an Olympic record of 70 .00 meters in the discus throw marked Jamaica's first ever medal in this event. The government provided $68 million in grants to Olympic and Paralympic delegation members, with Jamaica placing 8th in the athletics and 44th overall. The National Stadium Redevelopment Project will break ground in early 2026 with construction spanning 3 years. The Jamaica Anti-Doping Commission will enhance anti-doping efforts through partnerships with the Jamaica Constabulary Force, Jamaica Customs Agency, and private entities to expand its sample collection personnel under a national duty program. Legislative reforms are advancing with amendments to the Jamaican National Heritage Trust Act to strengthen heritage protection, expected to be completed in 2025-2026 years. The government will revise the Legal Deposit Act to ensure publishers deposit literature, audio videos, and other works to the National Library of Jamaica. The Cinematograph Act, which became operational in 1913 and was last amended in 1969, will be reviewed to ensure compatibility with changes in the film industry. A key element of the review will be the restructuring and redefinition of the function of the Cinematograph Authority to make it more relevant to secure economic advancement in the area of film production. Honorable members, the government continues to strengthen social, regulatory, and governance frameworks to enhance community development and quality of life. Jamaica has fully adopted new residential, fire, and international building codes, with extensive training provided to municipal corporation and agencies. The Jamaica Fire Brigade will also modernize forensic fire investigation through partnership with UWI and specialized training. Support for the vulnerable remains a priority. Over 337,000 meals and care packages have been distributed to the homeless. Fourteen houses have been completed under the Indigent Housing Program, and critical repairs and medical upgrades have been made to infirmaries island-wide. Youth empowerment saw record participation in the Youth Summer Employment Program. Employing 7,300 young people who contributed to local governance certainty. An 82% increase over 2023. Legislative progress includes the Counties and Parishes Amendment Act 2025, which seeks to grant parish status to the Portmore City municipality. Making it the 15th parish of Jamaica a milestone in local government. The Human Services Bill to modernize poor relief law and efforts to validate pension contribution for National Solid Waste Management Authority employees, ensuring worker welfare. In 2025-2026, the government will employ and train psychiatric nurses aides to enhance mental health service in infirmities. To enhance mental health services in infirmaries and drop-in centers. Jamaica faces numerous natural hazards, including earthquakes, floods, and hurricanes. To bolster disaster resilience, the government will overhaul disaster risk management, restructuring the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management. In partnership with the United Nations Capital Development Fund, the local climate adaptive living facility will channel climate finance to local governments with climate risk and vulnerability assessments, evaluating municipal disaster risk. Honorable members, guided by the principles of no one left behind, the government continues to strengthen social protection, promote decent work, and enhance productivity. In 2024, the national minimum wage increased by 15%. Following a 44% rise in 2023. Contributing to higher living standards alongside records low 3.5 unemployment rate. Social Security expanded with 17,800 new NIS benefits. $17,800 new NIS benefits issued to new applicants, while contributions outpaced payments by $18.99 billion. Senior citizens saw a 76% increase in the social pension benefit. From $6,800 to $12,000. Productivity efforts included the Future of Work and Productivity Summit and the launch of the Public Sector Productivity Improvement Initiative. Support persons with disabilities, advanced with a $53.5 million investment in the New Life, New Limb program. Providing prosthetic devices to 158 individuals. Legislative progress included the Occupational Safety and Health Bill to improve workplace safety amendment to the Minimum Wage Act to align with international standards for domestic workers, and the development of a modern social protection framework. In 2025-2026, we will expand industry and academic partnerships, fostering national productivity and incentivizing private sector growth. The Social Protection for Increased Resilience and Opportunity, SPIRO, project will modernize social protections, including upgrades to social and labor market information systems. Further, the PATH program will be reformed to address design deficiencies and improve operational efficiencies in delivery. The National Insurance Scheme will be further automated to streamline benefits and life certificate distribution. A national action plan to eliminate child labor will be introduced following the implementation of the child labor risk model. This plan will integrate public awareness campaigns and community intervention to protect vulnerable children. Honorable members, we have weathered storms. We overcome trials and achieve what once seemed impossible. Our journey is far from over. Let us press forward together, united in spirit and purpose, each playing our part to create a Jamaica that leaves no one behind and enhances our boundless potential. As we look to the future, let us stand resolute in our shared purpose and steadfast in our pursuit of a brighter Jamaica. Our progress is a testament to our people's resilience, ingenuity, and determination. It is proof that the Jamaica we envision, a nation of peace, opportunity, equity, and prosperity, is our next chapter. This is Jamaica's moment. A time to harness the potential of our people. Harness the potential of our people, our resources, and our unity to achieve the greatness that has always been within our reach. With God as our guide and our people as our strength, we will seize the moment to aspire to greatness. Kelly. Okay. Mr. Cowan, may I take off this, you know? Arbin, call Kamina. Can I have my...
Come here now. Where the red? This Honorable Senate is called to order. Since last we met, the Senate has lost 2 members by way of resignation, both of whom have contributed greatly to the progress of the country through the Senate. Senators Delroy Williams and Ransford Bram have both left us by way of resignation, and I record the Senate's gratitude for their contribution. Consequent upon those resignations, there are 3 senators to be sworn in today. There are 3 senators to be sworn in today, and we're going to proceed with that. Where's the list? Go ahead, Senator.
Normally, the session after the ceremonial opening of Parliament is a no business session. Is it intended to do business other than just the formal going through the agenda and adjourning?
It is intended to swear in the new senators.
There are going to be new senators?
Yes.
There are going to be new senators?
Yes.
And
Mr.
we're going to amend the agenda?
Dr. Elon Beresford Thompson.
Dr. Elon Beresford Thompson.
I, Elon Beresford Thompson, do solemnly, sincerely, and truly declare and affirm that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to Jamaica, that I will uphold and defend the Constitution and the laws of Jamaica, and that I will conscientiously and impartially discharge my responsibilities to the people of Jamaica.
come here. Tell him to come here. Come on. It's time to go to the Prime Minister. Can't, too late. Well, you really need some rehearsal. Mr. Delano Orlando Sivright.
Mr. Delano Sivright.
I, Delano Orlando Sivright, do solemnly, sincerely, and truly declare and affirm that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to Jamaica, that I will uphold and defend the Constitution and the laws of Jamaica, and that I will conscientiously and impartially discharge my responsibilities to the people of Jamaica.
Thank you very much. Marlon Andre Morgan.
Mr. Marlon Andre Morgan.
I, Marlon Andre Morgan, do solemnly, sincerely, and truly declare and affirm that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to Jamaica, that I will uphold and defend the Constitution and the laws of Jamaica, and that I will conscientiously and impartially discharge my responsibilities to the people of Jamaica.
Members, I want to first of all ask that you recognize that the Senate has a number of guests today, and specifically Dr. the Most Honorable Andrew Holness, Prime Minister of Jamaica, and Mrs. Holness. And also, oh, they have left, but former Senator Samuda was here along with Minister Morgan, but we recognize also Deputy Prime Minister, the Honorable Horace Strang. And members of the Senate, you are well aware of my usual attitude of leaving the best to last. We are of course joined by the Honorable Speaker of the House, Honorable Juliette Holness, and I ask you to welcome her as well. I didn't see Auntie Babsy around the back there. Welcome, Minister Grange, to the Senate. You know, I want to take the opportunity to welcome all three new senators. Senator Morgan has made his contribution and is a strenuous advocate and someone who is an expert in communications. Welcome. It's almost unnecessary for me to speak of the accomplishment and achievement of Senator Seabright, who has been on the international stage pushing and promoting the tourist product of Jamaica. So we welcome and we look forward to your continued contribution to Jamaica's development through the tourist industry. I take a special pride in welcoming Senator Dr. Thompson, because he will tell you that his father and I met in 1980 when we were both on the railway board. So I was very, very young. And I've maintained contact with him and his family over the years. A bittersweet moment for him because his mom is in intensive care with a medical issue. So we pray for you, but welcome you and look forward to your contribution. So I'm going to allow each senator just a brief introduction of themselves and just to say a few words. Prime Minister, you're going to wait? I think that you have to be off. Senator Morgan.
Thank you. They that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like an eagle. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. Teach me, Lord. Teach me, Lord, how to wait. Mr. President, I stand here this afternoon, with a great degree of humility and poise as I assume this appointment. And of course, this has been a journey, and I appreciate this particular juncture. Let me thank you, Mr. President, for the warm welcome you have extended, and I look forward to your continued even and steady hand in marshalling the proceedings in the chamber over the weeks and period to come. Let me also, Mr. President, extend my gratitude to the leader of government business in the Senate for her continued support and for her leadership of this particular side of the Senate. And I look forward and thank my colleagues on this side as well for their warm welcome. And while I'm at it, Mr. President, I must also extend gratitude to the leader of opposition business in the Senate and the members opposite for their own good wishes. And I look forward to our engagement, robust debate, and of course, all shall inure to the interest and benefit of the people of Jamaica. Let me also, Mr. President, express considerable thanks to Dr. the Most Honorable Andrew Michael Holness. Thank you, Prime Minister, for the confidence you have reposed in me, the task to which you have called me, and of course, I am very clear as to the mandate, yes, and of course, the work that lies ahead, and I will be discharging that work faithfully. I must also, Mr. President, extend thanks to my family. In the gallery joining us this afternoon is my dear wife, Sheena. My mother, who has been there from day one. And of course, my brother, all here in support. So, without being long, Mr. President, I appreciate the juncture at which this appointment, this elevation has come. We are essentially keen on contributing to the discourse in this space. The Senate, as persons will appreciate, is the review chamber, and it is my endeavor, Mr. President, to bring copious degrees of sobriety and perspicacity in examining matters here before us, and of course, ensuring that when all is said and done, whatever it is that we attend upon, whatever it is that we engage in, inures to the benefit of the people of Jamaica. Thank you, Mr. President.
Senator Delana Sivright.
Mr. President, distinguished members of the Senate, I rise today with deep gratitude and humility as I take my place in this esteemed chamber. This moment is both a privilege and a solemn responsibility, one that I do not take lightly. To my beautiful family, their unwavering support and, yes, thank you, and commitment means the world to me as I embark on this new journey in public life. I extend my sincere gratitude to one of my best mentors ever, Prime Minister, the Most Honorable Andrew Michael Holness, for his faith in me, his impeccable timing, his invaluable guidance over the years, and his level-headed, mature, and growth-focused leadership. Speaker of the House, Mrs. Holness has always been there for me, and I am so appreciative of your support over the years and your guidance and mentorship too. I must acknowledge other key mentors who have provided invaluable guidance and inspiration throughout my career and public life. The Honorable Edmund Bartlett, the Minister of Tourism, the Honorable Carl Samuda, and of course, James Robertson. I also want to acknowledge the late Shahini Robinson, who has been such a guiding light for so many of us who have come into this chamber. I also want to pay special acknowledgement to the President of the Senate, who I've known for years and has been a good friend for years, ever since I joined the movement for which I'm a part of. And of course, Mr. President, allow me a moment of levity by thanking JetBlue for getting me here at 7:51 a.m. this morning, 23 minutes ahead of schedule, Senator Allen. Can you believe that? we're very thankful for them being on time this morning. Beyond that, I had a whole speech prepared, but I realized that time will not allow. But in the spirit of collaboration, I have worked. My family has been absolutely there for me all the way. And beyond that, the spirit of collaboration with the government and opposition is something I've always encouraged. I recall my work in cannabis law reform and working across the aisle with academia, entertainment, international partners, and so on. I recall my work in a number of other fields, including, of course, in tourism, where there's a lot of collaborative engagement to get things done. And I'm very thankful and want to ensure that we continue that. Thank you.
Senator Dr. Elon Thompson.
Mr. President, I quickly noticed walking in today that it is seemingly, it seems to me that I am probably I'm the meekest among the three of us. But let me assure you, my presence here will not be one that is meek. Let me say good afternoon to members here, and special mention to the Most Honorable Prime Minister, Dr. Andrew Holness, who I will mention some words later on. His wife was left, Minister Grange. I will also mention the Deputy Prime Minister, Dr. Horace Chang, Member of Parliament, Robert Miller. Mr. President, allow me to take a minute to really thank the Most Honorable Prime Minister, who, if you give me a scalpel, I will be very efficient. And I think he has led with a very efficient hand. So when he got the title of doctor, I was most pleased because I know he would continue to lead with a steady hand. He has been an inspiration to me over this time, and I wish to thank him for his guidance. Now to Dr. Horace Chang, who has known me since I was a toddler. He's my godfather, as he would say. I'm really appreciative for his assistance along this journey. Now, with me here today, my family. It's a very trying time for us, but my father taught me something that, through tough times you have to be tough. And I just want to pay respect to him. He's a person that molded me to be the person I am today. And I pay respects to him. Of course, my mother couldn't be here, but I'm sure, having known about this coming, she would have been very proud of what is here. My wife is here, Camila. My, older sister, who I guess took care of me when my mother was at work, Susan. And my other sister, who is more my contemporary, who I would have squabbles with. And my brother is on his way. So, my presence here is simple. I'm not as verbose as the other speakers, but I am deliberate. Very deliberate. And even though my expertise lies in health and I will help to contribute to that body of legislation in the House, I am also keen on imparting other aspects of interest in youth education, I am not being heckled a lot, so I guess we will work together on the other side.
First day.
First day. But seriously, I hope that we can work together in this honorable house for the benefit of Jamaicans. So something that is very key to me is Jamaica first. There may be a little green in our national flag, but that is how it is. But we accept it, and I'm very humbled and very honored to be here, and I won't take this opportunity for granted. I've gotten so many messages from people who are wishing me well, and I mean on both sides. And I know what people expect of me, and I will try to uphold that to the best of my ability. Thank you.
You notice that although you're not as verbose as the other two, you spoke longer than the both of them, though. Minister?
Mr. President, although the Prime Minister is leaving, as is the DPM and our colleague Minister Grange, allow me to thank them for having been present with us to welcome these three wonderful new additions to this Senate. Allow me to add my voice on behalf of senators on this side, add my voice to that of yours, Mr. President, who welcomed them so warmly and efficiently this morning. I only read lips on Wednesdays, Mr. President, so I'm sorry, I'm unable to make that out. But I want to, as this is the start of the new financial year, I want to, of course, even as I embark upon a welcome, just thank Madam Clerk, Deputy Clerk, Assistant Clerk, and of course the staff of Parliament for having so expertly taken us through this morning's proceedings, which sets us on an excellent note for the remainder of the financial year. I want to wish senators on both sides a warm welcome as well, and all the very best as we embark upon the start of this new year. Mr. President, before I welcome our new colleagues, I want to just say how much we will miss the intellect of Ransford Braham. The commitment to nation of Delroy Williams. The sagacity and measure of Don Webby. Even as we welcome, you say everybody have dictionary. I really want, Mr. President, to say how much we have appreciated their service to nation, the trust that we have in the likelihood that they will again serve, perhaps in different capacities. We want to offer up a small prayer for health and strength for our brother Don in particular. As we recognize that his challenges are significant, but we pray for his return to good health.
Yes, sir.
So, Mr. President, it is within a context of mixed feelings, of course, that we welcome our new brothers in nation building, Senators Thompson, Morgan, and Sivrite, who this morning have already indicated and sent every signal that their contributions will be significant in the time ahead of us. The scope of their knowledge and experience, the extent of their vocabulary. We welcome the energy and the vibrancy which they all are committed to bring to our debates. And in that context, Mr. President, as we note that Jamaica exists in this time of global challenge, last year was very difficult. We anticipate this year will have its challenges as well. But as we have just heard from the Governor General, Jamaica has been strong enough to survive and, in fact, to continue to thrive. And we know that the team, all of us in here together, in the Chamber of Review will continue to so do. So we want to welcome Senators Thompson, Seabright, and Morgan, and look forward very much to working with them in the review of legislation, in the debates in the Joint Select Committees and otherwise, and broadly carrying out the role of this chamber as defined by the Constitution. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Minister Johnson-Smith. Senator Bunting.
Thank you, Mr. President. Let me start by joining the leader of government business in recognizing the contribution of the outgoing senators, and in particular to join the call for divine intervention on behalf of the health, not only of former Senator Webby, but also of Dr. Thompson's mother, who we understand is in the hospital. We now, Mr. President, seem to have the entire JLP Communication Task Force with us here in the Senate, and although I've been in the trenches with newly appointed Senator Seabright and Senator Morgan, I am having the first opportunity to meet Dr. Thompson, but, well, to meet him in a political context, I should say. And although he says he's not as verbose as the other two, I suspect he could equally qualify for the Communications Task Force. It is unusual for so late in the game to have so many substitutes coming onto the field. But I suppose if the clock is ticking, and you're many goals behind, you have to try something. So we recognize the PM's strategy, but we expect even the goalkeeper will believe in the goal to come forward to try to rescue the match. But unfortunately, time come, Mr. President. So I don't think I'm not going to wish them luck. I just hope that we will meet in the field in a spirit of collegiality and respect that the people of Jamaica deserve. Welcome to you all.
Statements by ministers, announcements, bills brought from the Honorable House of Representatives. Announcements.
Laid on the table of the Senate are the following: Annual report and audited financial statements of the Jamaica Cultural Development Commission for the financial year 2014-2015. Annual report and audited financial statements of the Water Resources Authority for the financial year 2020-2021. Annual report of the National Education Trust for the financial year 2023-2024. Annual report of the National Environment and Planning Agency for the financial year 2015-2016 and its related ministry paper numbered 7 of 2025. Annual report of the Forestry Department for the financial year 2015-2016 and its related ministry paper number 8 of 2025. Report of the Special Select Committee on Private Bills on its deliberations on the private bill shortly entitled The International Church of the Four Square Gospel in Jamaica, Incorporation and Vesting Act 2024, the Jamaica Gazette Supplement Proclamations, Rules and Regulations 171, Volume 148, dated Tuesday, January 28, 2025, number 24, enclosing the Constitution of Jamaica, the Jamaica Gazette Supplement Proclamations, Rules and Regulations 175, Volume 148, dated Tuesday, January 28, 2025, number 25, enclosing the Emergency Powers Specified Area in the Parish of St. Catherine, Regulations 2025, under the Emergency Powers Act, report on the deliberations on the Joint Select Committee appointed to consider and report on the bill shortly entitled the Jamaica Teaching Council Act 2022, annual report and audited financial statement on the Jamaica Cultural Development Commission for the financial year 2015-2016, annual report of the Office of the Public Defender for the year 2022, report of the Joint Select Committee appointed to conduct the statutory review of the security interests in personal property.
Thank you very much. Bills brought from the Honourable House of Representatives.
The following is a message from the Speaker of the House of Representatives. To the Honourable Senate, I have the honour to advise the Honourable Senate that on the 11th day of February 2025, an act to amend the Counties and Parishes Act to declare the city municipality of Portmore the 15th parish of Jamaica and for connected matters was passed in the House of Representatives with one amendment. Juliet Holness, MP, Speaker of the House of Representatives.
Thank you. Petitions?
When a bill comes from the other place, isn't it the appropriate thing for a minister to take responsibility and to take charge?
That's what she's going to do.
I haven't heard that. Because
well, you will not just wait, man. You'll soon hear it.
Sorry?
You'll soon hear, man.
You'll soon hear it. I just want to make sure. That's so. And secondly, we are not favored with a copy of that bill. That's right.
You are not finished yet.
Yeah, I was finished. And I'm saying we have not been provided as is the norm with the bill. And I'm just wondering if what we're seeing as we approach the election is a new approach away from the standing orders by the government.
No, there's not. No, there's nothing. There's nothing new. I understand. I understand.
Yeah. This meeting is normally, in my 13 years in the Senate, this meeting is usually a formal meeting. We just go through, and there's no business.
Yeah, but
there's no business conducted.
If you don't interrupt,
even in the document provided to us
if you don't
today.
interrupt the process, it will go through very
No,
quickly.
no, I'm not interrupting. I have a right as a senator.
All right, okay. And you have spoken. Minister.
We're starting bad. Because I'm not being allowed to raise the deviation, the shift away from the normal procedure of the Senate on matters of this. So I want to make that very clear.
Minister? Okay, all right. It's okay. Petitions, papers, reports from committees, notices of motions given orally. Minister?
Mr. President, I beg to give notice that at the next meeting of the Senate, I will move the following motion. Whereas a new session of Parliament commenced this 13th day of February 2025, be it resolved with reference to all sessional select, joint select, and select committees which were appointed in the previous session of Parliament, and where those committees have not completed their deliberations, that in this new session of Parliament, this Honourable Senate be empowered to enable these committees to proceed with the issues referred to them from the stage reached prior to prorogation. And be it further resolved that the composition of all these committees remain unchanged, except where necessary by further motion to be taken and approved by this Honorable Senate. And Mr. President, I beg to give further notice that at a later stage today, I'll move for the suspension of standing orders to allow me to take this motion.
Thank you very much, Minister. Questions and answers to questions?
I take note of the motion moved by the Honorable Leader of Government Business, but nothing was said, Mr. President, about the questions that have been tabled and answers pending. And in particular, there was a commitment to answer a question by the end of January, and that I had tabled, and that was forthcoming. So I want to know if those questions will be carried over and answered during this session. May it please, Mr. President.
Minister.
Mr. President, I have to express my apologies to Senator Morris for not meeting my target of having the answers ready for him. We didn't sit on the last Friday for several different reasons, and I had exchanges with the leader of opposition business in the Senate on this express matter. We did agree that I will provide you with the questions in writing, but I did want to check whether it wouldn't have been better for you to retable them so that they could be read into the record rather than me simply sending them to you informally. They could not be carried over by procedure of the same motion, but a simple matter of retabling them will enable me, with a suspension of standing orders, to just answer them on the same day. So there's no effort to avoid, and circumstances simply led us to where we are, but there's certainly no intention to avoid the answers. So I want to just give the assurance to Senator Morris that on a retabling, I can provide them, but I can provide them if he doesn't wish to.
Thank you.
Proceed that way.
Motions that may be made at the commencement of public business requiring notice. Motions relating to the sitting of the Senate. Motions for leave to introduce bills. The presentation of bills without the leave of the Senate first obtained. Public business. Minister. Members would have heard the question. Those in favor? Oh, I'm sorry.
Mr. President, it has been normal for at the last sitting of the Senate, before the prorogation of Parliament, for a carry-on motion, carry-over motion to be moved. Regrettably, this government seems too busy to have brought that motion to the Senate. And so resolutions that were tabled and which would be carried over. And I have seen, in response to Senator Floyd Morris, that even questions by way of motion have been carried on. Now, any question that was on the table is being left off, and we're being asked to resubmit it. And I have to ask Senator Crawford, what can go so in terms of the order and the management of the Senate? And I'm disappointed, and I want to make it very clear that we on this side believe that not sufficient attention is being given to the order and organization of the Senate agenda, so that what properly ought to have been done was done. And so I personally is not going to support the motion. They have enough to carry it. They just brought in 3 more. So they can carry it. And I'm wondering when the 4th is going to come. So as far as we are concerned, we are ready to meet the challenge of the new. We hope that the new people who have come in, who have had extensive experience certainly at least 2 of those members who have joined us today were part of the 2011 losing team.
Senator Brown,
So I am
don't be ungracious,
opposed to the
man.
motion.
Don't be ungracious.
I'm opposed to the motion. I'm not being ungracious.
We notice
I'm
that.
just stating certain facts.
All right, no problem.
The country needs to know.
Thank you, Senator Brown. Thank you, Senator Brown. I'm sorry. Before Senator Brown got up, I was to ask. Before Senator Brown got up, I was to ask the question whether the standing orders be suspended to enable the leader of government business in the Senate to take the motion, notice of which was given earlier. Those in favor? Against? Debate having been concluded. The question is that the motion, notice of which was given by the leader of government.
Thank you, Mr. President. And not to prolong the debate, but simply to answer one question which was asked. The question was, what can go so? And what goes and what went was my conversation with your leader of opposition business about how to proceed. We agreed that it was entirely reasonable for both sides to take the opportunity to review the motions which had been tabled and to determine which ones we wished to retable. And that is good governance. That is making sure that you have transparency, you have review, and that you're able to move forward. We spoke about the questions as well. So, Mr. President, I've just answered what went and would like to ask that the motion be approved.
Members would have heard the debate and response from the minister. Those in favor? Against?
It is not intended to do any further business today, especially because Senator Brown seems to feel that we should not work on a day such as this. We have, however, done it before.
Thank you.
And we have to make sure that we're as productive as possible, and that's what we've tried to do today. So, Mr. President, that having been said, might the Senate be adjourned for a date to be fixed?
The question is that the Senate be adjourned for a date to be fixed. Those in favor? Against? This Honourable Senate now stands adjourned for a date to be fixed.
In Jamaica, our unemployment remains the lowest it has ever been, which means more Jamaicans are working and can provide for themselves and their families. Your government is building Jamaica.
Get ready to be inspired. Join us on PBCJ's Giving Hearts, the show that celebrates kindness, compassion, and generosity.
So we try to give books, shoes, lunch snacks, and uniform allowance.
We'll share powerful stories of individuals and organizations making a difference across the island each week.
My mother and I felt the need to keep helping
children with special needs and other children.
From ordinary people doing extraordinary things to organizations driving positive change.
And we haul up garbage, whether with our nets, hooks, picks.
Giving Hearts will warm your heart and inspire you to take action. Don't miss Giving Hearts, airing Sundays at 8 p.m. with a rebroadcast on Tuesdays at 6:30 p.m. exclusively on PBCJ, the People's Station.
If you want to volunteer, definitely do it. You get actually a rewarding feeling after.
Join the movement. Spread love. Give from the heart. Giving Hearts, Sundays at 8 p.m., Tuesdays at 6:30 p.m. on PBCJ. Follow us on social media at PBCJamaica for updates and more inspiring stories.
More of your money is now tax-free? Know that the income tax threshold has been increased. Your government is looking after you responsibly, so our economy can do even more for you.
The proceeding was brought to you by the Office of the Prime Minister.
Jamaica's report on the Sustainable Development Goals (SDGs) to the United Nations was put together after nearly 50 consultations with Jamaicans across the country.
We, the GHTA, have already encouraged community tourism, which is aiding in spreading the wealth generated from tourism to every Jamaican. 2, the diversification of the tourism marketing sector, which has resulted in a greater participation in the sector.
Chairman of the Quality and Services Adolescent Health Committee. And that committee has been doing well in giving suggestions and on how to improve our services, especially within our parish.
In 2015, I did a research with the Ministry of Health, and we did a project called the All-In. I worked with Ms. Kelly as well. The All-In Steering Committee, and I was an adolescent chairperson. And we worked with 25 focus countries. Adolescent Health Committee was present at Portland Public Hospital. That was from my research. That's the young people's legacy. You have power.
We choose conventional farming because it is sustainable. It puts money in our pockets. My passion right now is to see St. Thomas drive forward.
We need to get into the cities, into the community, and engage those persons in sports, in entertainment, in business. And you see the real transformation of lives of people.
Declare the initial staging of Go for the Goals Roadshow officially open. Thank you.
If you have ever experienced any form of inequality, please stand and let all our voices be added to this debate on sustainable development goals. More specifically, goal number 5, gender equality. I thank you.
The focus of the discussion, therefore, has to be on the how. That is, how do we make Agenda 2030 a reality here in Jamaica? One of the things that I am committed to is to implement, to get things done.
Stay in the conversation on sustainable development on your preferred social media platform and look for the Planning Institute of Jamaica, PIOJ, Vision 2030 Jamaica, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, the Statistical Institute of Jamaica, Statin, and the United Nations Development Programme, UNDP, Jamaica.
Join the conversation focusing on Jamaica's development. Tune in to the post-cabinet press briefings, Wednesdays live at 9 a.m. with a rebroadcast at 9 p.m. right here on PBCJ, the People's Station.
Since 2016, 156,000 more Jamaicans are working. This is more than any other time in our history. Your government is caring for you.
A new story is being written for all Jamaicans. The Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation is on a mission to transform lives. From increasing access to potable water, providing secure homes for the most vulnerable, and helping you own a piece of the rock. We're revitalizing communities and preserving our environment. We're making an impact. See the difference. Feel the difference. Building a better Jamaica for you and me.
You can feel it. Make JC.
Once upon a time in a Caribbean island known for its rich culture, natural beauty, lived a group of people who were buried in piles and piles and more piles of paper. Papers spanning back to the start of time. Then came a bright idea, harnessing technology to work smarter and not harder. The government of Jamaica is improving its operations to serve citizens better. Many services are now available online, and there's more to come. The government of Jamaica, building a better public sector for all.
Bonjour, bonjour, comment allez-vous? Bienvenue. Hello everyone and welcome. I hope that you're all doing well and that you're excited because today we'll be looking at greetings and introductions in French. So without further ado, let's get right into it. On y va. Après toi, let's go. Alright, so first things first, let's say les salutations. Les salutations, that is greetings. So we know these already, right? Well, some of them. We all know the very